Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has stated that the main reason for his country's intervention against Russia is to create a protective zone against attacks from Russia. Zelensky's statement, similar to Russian President Vladimir Putin's claims regarding the attacks on the Kharkov region in the spring, reveals Ukraine's military strategy in the border regions. Ukrainian soldiers fighting in Kursk are trying to gain new territory and maintain their current positions. Ukraine says it wants to create a buffer zone to prevent Russian attacks. The areas in the Kursk region that Ukraine claims to control are part of this strategy. Ukraine claims to control more than 1,000 square kilometers in the Kursk region, but this area only makes up 3% of the total area. Russia reports that it has evacuated more than 120,000 people. The population of this large region, which is predominantly engaged in agriculture, is home to about 1 million people. So what does Ukraine have its eye on in Kursk? First of all, there is a large air base outside Ukraine's control area but within range of its missiles. This base is used by Russia to launch attacks on Ukrainian territory, and Ukraine's capture of it would be a major victory. In addition, Kursk is a critical point for Russia to send troops and military supplies to Ukraine. Ukraine aims to take control of the region and destroy the bridges, which would make it harder for Moscow to send its troops to the places it needs. Ukraine says it has no intention of seizing and occupying Russian territory. However, it needs to hold on to the territories it has conquered in order to create a buffer zone against Russia. Ukraine has already begun laying mines to defend these territories. At the same time, Russia has begun digging more defensive lines and trenches on its own territory to stop Ukraine's advance. The further Ukraine pushes Russian forces away, the wider the buffer zone becomes, making it harder for Russia to attack Ukrainian territory. Marina Miron, an expert in the Department of War Studies at King's College London, assessed Ukraine's military strategy in a television program. Miron stated that the main goal of Ukraine's military strategy is not to create a buffer zone, but to remove Russian forces from Ukraine's vital Donbas region. He also stated that this buffer zone could be created to prevent possible Russian attacks on the Sumy region, but there is speculation about the Russian strategy of advancing from Kharkiv to Sumy. Miron emphasized that Ukraine needs to control more territory and gain logistical advantages, and that Ukraine needs to capture regions such as Kornivolgov and Rilsk, or the city of Kursk. However, these goals still seem quite distant. He said that Ukraine does not seem to be gaining momentum at the moment and that the operational pace is slowing down. According to Miron, Ukraine's advance in Kursk may not make a decisive difference in the overall plan in terms of preventing Russia's military operations. Ukraine has tied up a lot of resources while continuing this advance in Kursk. He argued that these resources should be used to defend the Pokrovsk region, which Russia continues to gain in the east. Ukraine's military command faces challenges such as a lack of manpower on the one hand and a lack of equipment on the other. At the same time, it must contend with global factors such as the upcoming U.S. elections and political uncertainty within Ukraine. This complicates Ukraine's strategic plans at a time when it is uncertain whether to get support from Western allies. Amid all this uncertainty, it can be argued that Ukraine is taking a gamble to keep its troops' morale high and to create a certain media impact in the international arena.